We anticipate in the next 10 to 12 years approximately 8 to 6 million Hispanics coming into the United States and 41 million Asians. You have been the majority minority for 400 years in this country. You have been the number 2 population for 400 years. You're gonna get kicked out of being number 2, you're gonna go down and become number 4. Now, common sense, even a 3rd grade education would tell you, if you didn't get anything when you were number 2, you all jumped ahead of me, but anyway, you can guess what you're gonna get when you become number 4.
President Biden, do you support reparations?
Well, I mean, since I haven't spoken on this, got a chance. Number one, the reason we're the country we are is because of immigration. We've been able to cherry pick the best from every single continent. The people who come here have determination, resilience. They are ready to stand up and work like the devil. We have 24 out of every 100 children in our school today is Hispanic. The idea that we are going to walk away and not provide every opportunity for them is not only stupid and immoral, but it's bad for America. They are the future of America.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. And this is what we are faced with. And this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
We are owed $104 trillion on the very low end, plus $735 billion recurring. This number does not include the cost of about 50 Black Wall Streets that were decimated, nor compound interest from 2017 when Sean D. Rochester's book, The Black Tax, was published, nor the cost of Black life, nor the cost of living increases, nor the war on drugs, nor the current day pandemic. The number I'm working with is for slavery, Jim Crow, and accrued ongoing systemic racism, oppression, and disadvantage in the country our ancestors built with their lives.
Good evening on the West Coast. Good evening in the mountains. Good evening in the central. Good evening on the East Coast. You know exactly who it is, family. Angela Nirvana, your hostess with the mostest on the Reparations perspective, bringing you those Freedmen hot topics and making the case for reparations, making the case for weaponizing our vote, socializing our suffering. Welcome, one and all. Welcome, Twitter. Welcome, ScrewTube. Welcome, Facebook. I see you, Gwen XOXO and The Rock. And for those of you who have not chimed in as to where you're tuning in from, welcome, one and all. Thank you for joining the live. This is part 2. I will probably only be here once a week on Sundays with the current events in the broadcast of As the World of Freedmen Turns. But I had so many things I wanted to cover because this is a time to be preparing and gearing people up for the 24 elections. And while we made some progress during the midterms, we need a significant amount more of people who are willing to weaponize their vote and socialize their suffering. So I'm going to be here more than likely weekly with this particular broadcast as I work on other broadcasts, one being Metaphysically Speaking, which is coming to you tomorrow. I pray. I am really trying to wait for ScrewTube to approve the Nirvana World TV That's where I'm going to be getting into all these other God ideas that are just teeming to be made manifest. And it helps us in all these other facets of our lives that we tend to neglect because the boot of the oppressor stays on our necks, and we have to tackle those issues all the time. But I do believe that it's imperative that we overstand our power. Angela, can you every Monday instead of Sundays? I will contemplate that, The Rock. I will think about that. Let me know why you prefer Monday over Sundays. Monday, the week is really challenging because I'm feverishly at work, on all these different ideas that are trying to be made manifest. And it's a lot of work when you're seeking to be the captain of your own ship and to take the ceiling off your salary. It's a lot to give birth to that. So I usually need all of my energy during the day to work on those ideas and then come to you in the evenings to, share. That it's a lot, even in just the preparation of a lot of these broadcasts that I bring to you, because I've got to pull from a number of different resources to make the case, right? Sundays, he's got church and family stuff, sis. Okay, The Rock, thank you for that explanation. I'm going to really take that into consideration. I know it's usually a church day. Our church is still online. Predominantly, we meet once a month, but I might be able to work that out, family, because I do understand the importance of prioritizing your spiritual well-being. And I like that you shared that would be a better window for you. You can always catch the archives too. So just in case I don't change it, know that the archives are there. Although, The Rock, I love having you as a co-host. As a matter of fact, I'm going to try to make you a mod one of these days when I'm feeling like I need that desperately. I do need it, but I can't do it through StreamYard. I got to fuss with doing it over on ScrewTube. And so I don't want to practice right now while the broadcast is going live because it may take a minute. So please Gmail me, The Rock, and Gwen XOXO, whomever would like to be a mod over here at the Reparations Perspective. I do get some trolling and I don't always see it because I'm on the other screens making the case. I could check the archive, but nothing like seeing you live, sis. Oh, God bless you for that, family. Well, okay, see, and here's my buggy daughter. Just a second. I am live, my love. What do you want? Bye. Love you. Now, I just told her I was going live. Oh, my God. I can't call it, having a senior moment because she's not that. She's 18. Let me silence this phone so we will have no more interruptions while we get into today's topic. But yes, I know that I am a ruckus live, and I do, like I said, I love my co-host. So I'm going to take that into consideration. But without further ado, let me wave my banner to please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications, family. I know y'all get tired of hearing the same old thing over and over and over again. Hi, Yaira. Thank you for joining the live, fam. I know y'all get tired of hearing the same old thing, but I don't see anybody in the ScrewTube space doing specifically what I do. What I do here is Freedmen education. I talk about these politics through the reparationist perspective lens on behalf of Freedmen. So I know y'all like, oh my God, if she keeps beating the same drum, but I have to beat it until enough people get it, even if they only get it telepathically and they're not over here. I have to sound the alarm, because if we continue to do the same things while expecting different results, it's going to really undo us as a lineage. And we can't wait until what's happened to California to hit our state before we get active. Like, it's too late then. It's too late for us out here. It's little Mexico now. So what I'm doing is sounding the alarm, and I'm weaponizing current events to help you understand the dire importance of weaponizing your vote versus withholding your vote or continuing to vote blue no matter damn who. I want you to see that the color of white in this country is the the color of wanton white supremacy is what altogether now, family? Crayola. Okay? You can no longer just look at the white person and think that they're the wanton white supremacist. Everybody's getting in on the act. We literally have no friends, and I'm here to make that case. Okay? So let's go back to where we were yesterday. Let me share my screen. I want to go back over these election results because I don't want us to get comfortable with a mere 14% of us now pivoting to the closed border citizenship first candidates, which are by and large the GOP. Okay, yes, it's going to require that you grow a backbone akin to your ancestors who knew when to pivot from the repugnant clans to the Demorats for civil rights that now benefit everyone but American freedmen. Everyone else has our reparations and protections but us, because we refuse to be courageous sooner than 2019 when we formed the Contemporary Reparations grassroots movement. So now what I'm calling on us to do, in addition to fighting for reparations, is to fight for an anti-Black hate crime bill. We absolutely need that. We need to put an end to qualified immunity. These race soldiers need to be under the jail for the executions of unarmed Black men, women, and children. So there's more than just reparations in terms of cash that I'm fighting for. And a lot of things are going to come by way of the vote. That, oh, by the way, I'm going to prove to you today some more how the Demorats are working feverishly to not even need our votes come 24. Oh my God. Let's get into it. So I'll go back to that article after I make the case, since I segued. I allow Spirit to just kind of tell me where to go with these articles. But I need you to see what Joe Crow is up to. I'm going to share that before I go back to the voter article that I started at the end of yesterday's broadcast, because we were approaching 2 hours. I want to go back to that article though, but let's get into what Joe Crow is doing after claiming, since American freedmen had his back, well, Blacks by and large had his back the last election cycle, not me, how he claimed he would have ours. Let me show you what he's doing, the devil. Hi, Stephanie. I see you, family. Welcome to the live. You guys chat amongst yourselves. You know I'll be jumping around, and then I'll come over for the last hour to read your comments before I pray us out. Okay, so let me just get to that article real quick, family, because I want to share with you a couple of articles I found where this Mickey Ficky is just really doing a full court press to erase and replace us with our own damn vote, might I add. Okay, so let me share the screen. Stand by. Present. Share screen. Ooh. Y'all won't believe what is going on. It is just, ooh, child, the ghetto. Okay. We'll talk about this one first since it popped up. Let's see here. Let me go to the top of this and then bring it up in another screen so I can read from it. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Welcome to the live. So this says immigration parole program Biden says he's expanding already faces legal challenges. Well, we like that part, honey. I don't know what we do without the conservative court right now. That's what this would be totally out of control. So let's get into this article. I'm not going to read everything, but I do want to discuss some of the things that jumped out at me before I segue into the next and into the next and into the next. Okay, let me make sure you can see it. Okay, you can see it. And me. Okay. So basically, here we have the immigration parole system. President Joe Crow, my word, says he's expanding is already being challenged in court by a lawsuit brought by Florida, arguing the administration's abuse of it is illegal. The trial is set to begin Monday, a day after the president is scheduled to visit El Paso. The Texas border city's Democratic mayor
declared an emergency last month after the city and the region experienced a humanitarian crisis due to record illegal entries. Now, me speaking, this is because the Demorats are saying in one breath that the border is closed, but I've already shared with you in the archives how the illegals are saying the borders are wide open. And I've showed you that they put immigrants in charge of the border who are not deporting, but processing these illegals, giving them work permits. Okay, this is happening under the Joe Crow administration while he and Kagame lie to us and say the borders are secure. No, I would venture to say, even though Ukraine is fighting the American war with Russia, okay, they're doing so with our dollars, that our dollars are working harder to protect the borders of Ukraine than it is to protect our borders here in the U.S. So, with these Demorats, believe none of what you see and none of what you hear. Okay? On Thursday, the president announced he was expanding a legal immigration plan, including using an existing parole system to allow an additional 360,000 illegal foreign nationals to be released into the United States. These are the ones that they're erasing and replacing us with. The foreign nationals, the ones with money that can come in and raise the prices of the mortgages even higher than they currently are, to make sure we never get access. And in the meantime, you've got the Asians over there fooling around with the Supreme Court to end affirmative action. Not that it really benefits us anymore. We need our own shediggity, okay? We need our own shebang-a-bang. We don't really need to be holding to the things that our leaders failed to secure the gate around. Civil rights and affirmative action, it was an epic fail. Anytime you've got affirmative action that was designed to make American freedmen whole, and yet it benefits white women, LGBTQIA, XYZ white men, and immigrants, then the people that we continue to elect have been undermining and selling us out because they did not secure the gate on what should be exclusively our entitlement after our ancestors endured the worst heinous chattel slavery known to the free world. So now he's talking about bringing in not just the poor. He wants to allow an additional 360,000 illegal foreign nationals to be released into the U.S. That's inclusive of a lot of money, folks. Yes, they need the poor ones to compete in black hoods where we have the least amount of education between black and white, so that they can justify and constitute not giving us employ. But they're also going to be bringing in money, folks, whom are going to be getting high position, who are going to be creating businesses in our communities, okay? And then running for office to take over the government in the browning of America. That's what the Joe Crow administration is intending to do with our vote. 86% of our electorate did this, not me. My ticket last election cycle, the midterms, bled. Okay? And I'm out here in California where I really don't stand a snowball's chance. But hey, it was my protest vote, so I went out here and invoked it. Back to the text. He made the announcement on the same day U.S. District Judge T. Kent Wetherell II in the Northern District of Florida, Pensacola Division, granted final requests made in a case brought by Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody before the trial begins next week. Joe Crow announced that part of his plan to expand safe, orderly, and humane processing for illegal foreign nationals included expanding a federal parole system to allow an additional 30,000 people a month to remain in the U.S. from Venezuela, Haiti, Cuba, and Nicaragua. 360,000 in total for the year. Biden made the announcement after a record 68,044 Cubans and Nicaraguans and 6,232 Venezuelans were apprehended in November illegally entering the U.S., according to CBP data. And after more than 600,000 foreign nationals
from all over the world were apprehended or evaded capture in November and December 22 combined, and a record 3.3 million were apprehended in fiscal 22. But they're not talking about the 10 million that stayed. Notice the trickery in how this works. They're sitting up here announcing these numbers in this particular article, but they're not telling you the 10 to 15 million that are here. And we're going to get into that momentarily. Joe Crow also claimed that those illegally entering between ports of entry from these 4 countries would be returned to Mexico. He pledged to give millions of dollars in U.S. taxpayer money, our reparations, to Mexico to take back 30,000 every month from these 4 countries. So he pledged to give them millions to take 30,000 back a month, but he's looking to legally process. Let's go back. Okay, he wants to legally process 360,000, but he claims he wants 30,000 per month to be returned, and he's going to be using our reparations. That's what he wants. He wants them to go back to Mexico, and he wants to pay Mexico to welcome them back. Let's see what that amounts to. 360,000 here that he wants to make legal citizens. Hold on one second. I got to go to my calculator. So he wants to do a split. 360,000 foreign nationals to stay, and let me pay you American Freedmen reparations to take 360,000 back. All the while not addressing how he's allowed this country to be flooded with illegals who are now in the state of California, in most sanctuary states, able to receive housing, food stamps, jobs, driver license. And there's going to be a mad dash since the recent events of our young and our poor who have shifted their vote towards the GOP. It's going to be a full court press to get these people citizenship so that they can vote in 24. With our vote. Back to the text. His commitment to a safe, orderly, and humane processing of illegal foreign nationals is consistent with his administration's expressed support of the UN's Global Compact for Safe, Orderly, and Regular Migration. The GCM is part of the United Nations Agenda 2030 Sustainable Development Plan and has been actively involved with the migration of people all over the globe. Moody argues the administration's misuse of the parole system is unconstitutional and violates federal law established by Congress. The majority of people being released into the U.S. by the Joe Crow administration don't have a legal basis under current asylum law. The practice doesn't comply with mandatory detention laws and is illegal, Moody maintains. Yes, and while they're seeking asylum here, as we discussed in prior archives, why not seek asylum from the 100 countries they had to pass to get over here to the U.S.? I know I'm exaggerating, but you get what I'm saying. Seek asylum there instead of coming here. And my whole thing with immigration is there needs to be a moratorium on legal immigration and deport all the illegals that are coming here under the Joe Crow administration until you make American freedmen whole with our reparations in the quadrillions over hundreds of years, or for as long as you choose to be racist. You need to run us that Skrilla. That's how I feel about it. There's no way these people should be brought into this country and made more American while we suffer the highest rates of homelessness, unemployment, and underemployment. Miss me with it. American freedmen first, second, and third up in this piece, because that's exactly what they're doing. This is the albatross around our necks with our own vote. Back to the text. In months of intense discovery, lawyers for Florida uncovered evidence of Joe Crow ignoring public safety immigration laws, allowing more than 1 million unvetted, inadmissible immigrants into the interior. Of which now crime is up every damn where. And of course, who do they want to blame when they drop this crime off into our cities? where American freedmen are predominantly hanging on by the thread of their chinny chin chin. They're bringing all the fentanyl and the drug cartels and, okay, all of this is coming to where we are. And it won't be justification to execute them. It'll be justification to execute ours, unarmed Black men and women and children. Her office said on Thursday, the upcoming trial will once again show that the Joe Crow administration is threatening America's safety by intentionally weakening our nation's border security, it said. Since Joe Crow took office, my word, he has intentionally dismantled public safety immigration structures, allowing chaos to reign at our nation's southwest border and letting unvetted, inadmissible immigrants, along with dangerous individuals and deadly drugs like fentanyl, into our country, Moody said. Joe Crow's actions are beyond irresponsible and put Americans at risk. No, specifically American freedmen, because they're not dropping this bullshiggity off into the immigrant and white folk neighborhoods. The Crayola wanton white supremacists don't get this work like American freedmen do. And we're very vulnerable because they're not enforcing our protections. They're giving them away. They're not ending qualified immunity. Back to the text. Now, because of our litigation, the president must defend his reckless actions and refusal to follow the law in a federal courtroom. Florida sued Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas and others for not enforcing federal immigration law established by Congress. The Immigration Nationality Act requires inadmissible foreign nationals to be detained and repatriated to their home country. Instead, Mayorkas directed federal officials to release them into the U.S. Under Title VIII, the law governing admission into the U.S., federal agents are required to detain applicants until an immigration judge adjudicates their case, including issuing orders for removal. Soon after Joe Crow took office, Mayorkas began dismantling the enforcement and removal process by issuing several memorandums over which several states sued. Since March 21, at least 1 million foreign nationals were unlawfully released into the U.S. through the parole system, Moody argues. As part of her lawsuit, they don't know what the numbers are. They know what the numbers are. They're not telling us. But I already did the math on a prior archive. You can look it up. I don't have time to go over that again. But we're talking at least a good 10 to 12 million already here since Joe Crow took office. As part of her lawsuit, and I did the math on that other archive, okay? As part of her lawsuit, her staff deposed Border Patrol Chief Raul Ortiz, who testified that the Joe Crow administration was intentionally reducing detention capacity, forcing agents to release the majority of those detained. Plaintiffs also learned that Ortiz instructed agents to release people en masse into the U.S. once the Public Health Authority Title 42 was lifted. Okay. Let's move on to the next. Stand by, family. Let me share the next. Welcome to the live, y'all. Please be sure to like. Hi, Tay-Bay. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thank you for joining the live. I'm going to go to the next article. I'm making the case over here for reparations and weaponizing our vote to socialize our suffering. We ain't getting nothing from this administration who's seeking to erase and replace us. These are their ethno-genocidal plans for us specifically. Okay, let me make sure you can see it before I get into it. Okay, you can see it. Just a second, family. I have to bring it up into another tab so I can. I can read it while it stays stationary in the live. Now, first of all, when you talk about toughening the border,
but offering legal pad for $30,000 a month. These two ideas are diametrically opposed. Just like people who pay lip service to reparations, but they're pro-illegal immigration, diametrically opposed. You have to learn to read between the BS. Biden toughest border offers legal pad for $30,000 a month. Let me blow this up. Oh, family, this is a mess. I cannot stand all these pop-ups. Stand by, family. Okay. Joe Crow said Thursday the U.S. would immediately begin turning away Cubans, Haitians, and Nicaraguans who crossed the border from Mexico illegally. His boldest move yet to confront the arrivals of migrants that have spiraled since he took office 2 years ago. That was intentional. The new rules expand on an existing effort to stop Venezuelans attempting to enter the U.S., which began in October and led to a dramatic drop in Venezuelans coming to the southern border. Not as dramatic a drop as when Trump was in office. When Trump was in office, I've already shared with you in the archives, they were literally afraid to cross the border. And ICE was not processing them to bring them into the country. They were coming even to the jails to deport them. Now you've got Governor Newsom, who's giving them protections from deportation out here in California. Okay. Which began in October and led to Together they represent a major change to immigration rules that will stand even if the Supreme Court ends a Trump-era public health law that allows U.S. authorities to turn away asylum seekers. I'm praying that they don't end that law. These are not asylum seekers. These are illegals here to erase and replace American freedmen. Do not just show up at the border. Didn't we hear Kagame tell them the same thing in the beginning of their tenure? Did we not? And I showed you afterward what was happening. Joe Crow said as he announced the changes, even as he acknowledged the hardships that lead many families to make the dangerous journey north. But no mention of the hardships that American freedmen are suffering since the pandemic. But this is having our back. Stay where you are and apply legally from there, he advised. Yeah, right. Biden made the announcement just days before a planned visit, to El Paso. Homeland Security officials said they would begin denying asylum to those who circumvent legal pathways and do not ask for asylum in the country they traveled through en route to the U.S. That's not true. I told you, the Joe Crow administration in my last, not the last one, I can't remember which one it was. You have to go to the archives. I was sharing with you about how Joe Crow wanted more of our reparations dollars for Border Patrol, not for them to deport, but for them to process these illegals. Instead, the U.S. will accept 30,000 people per month from the 4 nations for 2 years and offer the ability to work legally as long as they come legally, have eligible sponsors, and pass vetting and background checks. Something he's not done since he entered office, and now we got 10 to 12 million of them over here, per the math I did on one of our prior broadcasts. Okay. Border crossings by migrants from those 4 nations have risen most sharply, with no easy way to quickly return them to their home countries. Unless you use more of our reparations. But you don't intend to return them because you see the rise in our numbers changing towards the repugnant clans, and you need a group to make citizens quick, fast, and in a hurry to save your own intentional, neglectful asses. That's what you need. And this is it. Joe Crow says this new process is orderly, it's safe, it's humane, it works. The move, while not unexpected, drew swift criticism from asylum and immigration advocates who have had a rocky relationship with the president. President Joe Crow correctly recognized today that seeking asylum is a legal right and spoke
sympathetically about people fleeing persecution, said Jonathan Blazer, the American Civil Liberties Union's director of border strategies. But the plan he announced further ties his administration to the poisonous anti-immigrant policies of the Trump era instead of restoring fair access to asylum protection. So you're trying to demonize the fact that Trump was seeking to protect our borders, which subsequently served. That was a tangible for American freedmen, who are now suffering the highest rates of homelessness, unemployment, and underemployment. So let's continue to demonize what Trump was doing to protect the borders. He wasn't doing it for us directly, but indirectly, we were the ones who benefited the most as the bottom caste in this country that our ancestors built with their lives after white folks killed and stole it all. Okay? So that's what they do. Let's just make Trump wrong for securing our borders. You can't go to their countries and get housing and food stamps and jobs and driver licenses and protections from deportation, can you? Put it in the chat. I want to know. Where in the world can American freedmen go and receive everything, receive anyone else's reparations and protections anywhere in the world? You got Europe and India throwing Africans out. Where can we go and flourish the way the illegals are able to flourish here under asylum seekers when they're breaking the law to enter this country? But Trump's the boogeyman for making sure they got deported if they tried this bullshiggity, for wanting to build a wall. I told y'all on several archives, when the Demorats love it, you must detest it. When they despise it, you must embrace it. That's how this has got to work. They love Barack Obama. Look at where we are. In the fight of our lives to prevent from becoming the permanent bottom caste in the country our ancestors built with their lives. They hate Trump. I've already shared with you. California unemployment for American freedmen was 5% under Trump and his position on illegal immigration. It is 20% now. Hold on, family, more pop-ups. Oh, I'm so sick of this. Even with the health law restrictions in place, the president has seen the numbers of migrants crossing the U.S.-Mexico border rise dramatically during his 2 years in office. There were more than 2.38 million stops during the fiscal year that ended September 30th, the first time the number topped 2 million. The administration has struggled to clamp down on crossings and reluctant to take the hardline measures that would resemble those of the Trump administration. That's resulted in relentless criticism from Republicans who say the Democratic president is ineffective on border security, and the newly minted Republican House majority has promised congressional investigations on the matter. The new policy could result in 360,000 people from these four nations lawfully entering the U.S. in a year, a huge number. But far more people from those countries have been attempting to cross into the U.S. on foot, by boat, or swimming. Migrants from those four countries were stopped 82,286 times in November alone. So what they're doing, instead of building and fighting for inclusion in their own countries, they want to come over here where American freedmen have not only done it, but continue to do it as we fight to survive our never-ending Holocaust in this country, as they come over and get positioned right over top of us. They'd rather risk life and limb to get over here where it's already been done than to stay their asses over there and do what our ancestors did and what we continue to do. To make life a fraction more decent for our children. Because they see what this country does for immigrants and white folks over American freedmen. They can see the world over how they're allowed to execute unarmed black men, women, and children. And so the only type of immigration they're importing in this country is Crayola wanton white supremacists who hate us. And the same lengths they'll go through to get into the country will be the same lengths they'll go through in office and on the police force to stay in the country. In bed with Crayola wanton white supremacists to our peril. We have no friends. Let's finish. I got some more. Oh, Lord, I'm at 6:42. Inger Valbuena, a Venezuelan who was living in Tijuana, Mexico after crossing the border illegally, said Thursday's announcement came as no surprise, but a blow nonetheless. This was coming. It's getting more difficult all the time, he said by text message. Some Venezuelans waiting on Mexico's border with the U.S. have been talking among themselves if Canada is an option. Valbuena said he had been waiting for the outcome of the pandemic-related asylum ban before trying to enter the U.S. again and is seeking asylum in Mexico, which offers a much better future than Venezuela. If it becomes more difficult to reach the U.S., the best path is to get papers in Mexico, said Valbuena, who currently works at a Tijuana factory. Mexico has agreed to accept up to 30,000 migrants each month from the 4 countries who attempt to walk or swim across the U.S.-Mexico border and are turned back. That's because the Joe Crow administration is paying them with our reparations. Normally, these migrants would be returned to their country of origin, but the U.S. cannot easily send back people from those 4 countries for a variety of reasons that include relations with the governments there. Anyone coming to the U.S. is allowed to claim asylum regardless of how they cross the border, and migrants seeking a better life in the U.S. often pay smugglers the equivalent of thousands of dollars to deliver them across the dangerous Darien Gap. But the requirements for granting asylum are narrow, and only about 30% of applicants are granted. That has created a system in which migrants try to cross between ports of entry and are allowed into the U.S. to wait out their cases while being given jobs, driver license, housing, food stamps, and protections from deportation. But there is a 2 million case immigration court backlog, so cases often are not heard for years. By then, they are well established and now cross over into the DACA. They now become a dreamer at our peril, to our expense, with our own damn vote. The only lasting way to change the system is through Congress, but a bipartisan congressional effort on new immigration laws failed shortly before the Republicans took the House majority. The actions we're announcing will make things better, but will not fix the border problem completely, Joe Crow said, in pressing lawmakers to act. Under then President Donald Trump, the U.S. required asylum seekers to wait across the border in Mexico. But clogs in the immigration system created long delays, leading to pathetic, dangerous camps over the border where migrants were forced to wait. That system was ended under Joe Crow, and the migrants who are returned to Mexico under the new rules will not be eligible for asylum. Biden will also triple the number of refugees accepted to the U.S. from the Western Hemisphere to 20,000 from Latin America and the Caribbean over the next 2 years. All of this piling on, all of this as the albatross around the necks of American freedmen, while denying us reparations, piling on with our vote. $20,000. Refugees and asylum seekers have to meet the same criteria to be allowed into the country, but they arrive through different means. Border officials are also creating an online appointment portal to help reduce wait times at U.S. ports of entry for those coming legally. Moratorium. We're not going to make it without a moratorium. It will allow people to set up appointments to come and ask to be allowed into the country. At the U.S.-Mexico border, migrants have been denied a chance to seek asylum 2.5 million times since March 2020 under the Title 42 restrictions. All the while not talking about how many have been allowed. They want you to be impressed with that number, so you will sheepwalk to the polls to re-elect them. Not me. Introduced as an emergency health measure by Trump to prevent the spread of COVID-19. But there always has been criticism that the restrictions were used as a pretext by the repugnant clan to seal off the border. Thank you, repugnant clans. Joe Crow moved to end the Title 42 restrictions and repugnant clans sued to keep them. The U.S. Supreme Court has kept the rules in place for now. Thank you. White House officials say they still believe the restrictions should end, but they maintain they can continue to turn away migrants under immigration law. But they're not. The foreign nationalities that Joe Crow addressed Thursday now make up the majority of those crossing the border illegally. Cubans who are leaving the island nation in their largest numbers in 6 decades were stopped 34,675 times at the U.S. border with Mexico in November, up 21% from October. Nicaraguans, a large reason why El Paso has become the busiest corridor for illegal crossings, were stopped 34,209 times in November, up 65% from October. But Venezuelans were seeing far less at the border after Mexico agreed on October 12th to begin accepting those expelled from the U.S. They were stopped 7,931 times, down 64% from October. Venezuelans have said the changes have been difficult, particularly with finding a sponsor who has the final resources to demonstrate the ability to support them. And even if they find a sponsor, sometimes they delay their arrival because they don't have the economic resources to pay for the flights to the U.S. For some, the Venezuelan passport that they need has expired, and they cannot afford to pay for the renewal. We keep voting for this, family. Very detrimental to American freedmen. Let me share my next article about how this is hurting Chicago and New York and how they're now pushing on the feds to give our reparations to these particular sanctuary cities in order to give protections to the immigrants, housing, everything. Let's get into it. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. If you feel so compelled, bless the broadcast. Thank you in advance. Okay, hold on, family. Well, make sure y'all can see this. Okay, stand by while I share in another script tab so that I can read it, okay? And comment, of course. Y'all know how it gets done over here. Struggling Chicago residents outraged over Lori Lightfoot's decision to house migrants. Help my own first. Let's see. Hold on one second, fam. I want to play this for y'all. Hold on. Then we'll get into it.
Your eyes are going to look years and years younger in 2 minutes. 2 minutes, you're going to have better looking eyes. It's going to, lines and wrinkles are going to be gone. Puffiness is going to be
I can't
gone.
stand these
You're gonna
ads.
I'm here because I am concerned. I live here, and we need to know what the plan is.
Woodlawn neighbors demanding answers from the city after they say a decision to shelter migrants in an old school was underhanded and unfair.
And now there are just hours until that first group of asylum seekers could move in.
Casey Cronus has the story.
Residents say they were blindsided by the announcement and feel there are other community issues that should be addressed first.
There is a lack of resources in our community. We don't need anyone else to come in and suck those up.
Located at 64th and University Avenue, an unoccupied building that once housed Wadsworth Elementary School might soon be open to migrants from the Texas border. Without providing details on timeline or living arrangements, a city official confirms the building has recently undergone repairs to accommodate the new arrivals. But residents say they weren't notified of this plan and met Thursday to protest the decision.
And the community feels as though it was a slap in the face not to include them.
They want answers, including how long they'll be housed there, if there will be security, and if background checks will be conducted. They also question why the city isn't addressing neighborhood crime, unemployment, and homelessness first.
We're struggling right now to make Woodlawn an affordable, mixed-income community. While I would love to help immigrants and everybody else, I'd like to help my own first.
This comes on the same day President Biden announced the U.S. is now turning away individuals from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela who cross the border illegally. Instead, the U.S. will accept 30,000 people per month from those four nations for 2 years. The president set to visit the U.S.-Mexico border in El Paso this weekend for the first time since taking office.
You need a lawful sponsor in the United States of America, number one. And you need to undergo a rigorous background check, number two.
After multiple requests to the mayor's office on that temporary housing in Woodlawn, a city official tells us they do not have a statement at this time. Reporting downtown, Casey Cronus, Fox 32, Chicago.
With our vote, family. Yeah, I'm going to keep telling you that this is what you're voting for. Your own erasure and replacement. I don't even need to read that one. Let's go to Eric Adams, asking for $1 billion of our reparations dollars to take care of the migrants in New York, of which he is one. He's an immigrant. Stand by. Make sure y'all can see that. Hold on. Okay, as usual, I'm going to bring it up in another tab. Stand by. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications, family. We need to make these messages go viral. We're not going to make it if this doesn't become louder than this no tangible, no votes nonsense and people withholding the vote to our own peril. Because when you do that, you leave the fate of our lineage in the hands of the immigrants who seek to replace us and Crayola white, wanton white supremacists who seek to erase us. I think it's another video I can share. Hold on, fam. Well, it's taking a long time. It's buffering. Hold on. Oh, that ain't nothing. Okay. I don't know what that is. I'm just going to keep going. Okay, so here we have Eric Adams. Seeks $1 billion from Joe Crow as New York City migrant crush swells to 30,000. Now, this is what's driving immigration drove American freedmen out of the state of California from around 6.5 million to 2 million now. Being driven to the South and all other places. We uprooted from your homes. Can't afford to be here anymore. And as California goes, so goes the nation. So now he wants $1 billion of our reparations dollars. You don't hear him talking about $1 billion to do a damn thing for American freedmen who are suffering the highest rates of homelessness, unemployment, and underemployment in New York and all throughout the country. No. He's asking for $1 billion for the illegals. Let's get into it. Mayor Eric Adams has asked the federal government for $1 billion to handle the crush of migrants who've surged into the Big Apple this year. But the cost was calculated when the population was far less than it is now. And before a judge decided to open the floodgates at the southern border, the Post has learned. That's what I told y'all. The borders are not secure. This is a New York Post. The Federal Emergency Management Agency confirmed Wednesday that its Emergency Food and Shelter Program's National Board received the city's funding request and was reviewing their application. But FEMA does not share information regarding pending applications and will only share award amounts upon application approval, a spokesperson said in an email. Adams first floated the $1 billion price tag for providing shelter and other services when he declared a state of emergency over the city's migrant crises in October. The city's estimated migrant population then was around 17,400. As of Sunday, that number has ballooned to more than 30,300, with over 20,900 living in taxpayer-funded shelters, according to the City Hall. Our reparations. Everything is reparations. When they can sit here and tell you they ain't got it for us, but are continuing to spend money, $5,000 going north, on illegal immigrants, refugees, wars with Russia, and white folks. The migrant population is poised to further explode when a pandemic-related immigration restriction known as Title 42 gets lifted. Well, on December 21st, we know that that didn't happen. Based on a decision by Washington, D.C., federal judge Emmett Sullivan, who said it was imposed illegally by former President Donald Trump. Yeah, the one that we're supposed to hate. He ain't got no record against us. We're supposed to hate this man because he tweets mean and call Africa an ish-hole country. While Joe Crow administration, between him and Kagame in office for 60 years, the covert racists they are, have records against American freedmen several New York City blocks long. The overt racists in office of 4 years did us nothing. And ain't nothing changed when it comes to state-sanctioned executions of unarmed black men, women, and children. Homelessness has gone through the roof. Unemployment and underemployment have gone through the roof under the Joe Crow administration by our vote. Now these ethnogenocidal plans. Back to the text. That ruling was appealed by Joe Crow administration, with 19 Republican-led states also filing an emergency request Monday to stay the judge's order. The administration fears that border crossings could skyrocket to 14,000 a day. Let's get the calculator. That's 420,000 a month. $5,040,000 illegal crossings is what this is skyrocketing to. 5 million. But the Joe Crow administration wants us to believe that since they've taken office, only 2 million have gotten in here. The administration fears that border crossings could skyrocket to 14,000 a day, and is considering a 5-month ban on asylum seekers who enter the country illegally or arrive at ports of entry without authorization, Axios reported Tuesday, citing sources. Let's look at this money that they're spending. Uh-oh. Let's see this video. Well, where's the play button, or is that just a still shot? I thought it was moving. Hold on, family. What'd I do? Oh, I thought it was a video, y'all. Hold on, family. Good Lord. Where is that music coming from? Hold on, y'all. Technical difficulties. As I'm trying to expose them. Oh, Lord, today. Where is it? I clicked on something and can't find it. That was dreadful. But if that keeps going, I have to close this one out and go to the other one, okay? Let's look at what they're spending. Can y'all see this still? Or did it stop sharing? No. Hold on, family. Let me come over. Yeah, y'all can see it. Let me make me a little bit smaller. See, this is why they don't want me to talk. They want to keep calling me a xenophobe. They don't want me exposing our their ethno-genocidal plans. So here we got some of what the city is spending on migrants. Let me see if I can blow this up without needing my glasses. Okay. So right now, translation services from Accurate Communication Incorporated, they're getting $8.2 million of our reparations dollars. Well, maybe I need to make this smaller. Shelter in Manhattan, run by Community Housing Innovations, Inc., is $23.4 million of our reparations dollars. Shelter in Queens, run by Vocational Instruction Project Community Services, $20.5 million of our reparations dollars. Shelter in Queens, run by Home Life Services Incorporated, $12 million of our reparations dollars. Shelter in Bronx, run by Bronx Works, Inc., $10.7 million of our reparations dollars. Shelter in Brooklyn, run by 163rd Street Improvement Council Incorporated, $10.1 million of our reparations dollars. Shelter in Brooklyn, run by Highland Park Community Development Corp., $9.6 million of our reparations dollars. Project management services at the Randall's Island Tent Shelter by 163rd Street Improvement Council Incorporated, $334,675 of our reparations dollars. I'm going to go back to the headline. I continue reading. Stand by, family. Okay. The projected figure would nearly double the average 7,442 daily encounters recorded by U.S. Customs and Border Protections during October, the latest month for which statistics are available. In the hard-hit border city of El Paso, Texas, which has bused more than 10,700 unwanted migrants to New York City, officials last week predicted that daily arrivals there would jump from 1,700 to as many as 2,380. A Homeland Security intelligence memo obtained Wednesday by CNN also warned that ending the policy would likely increase migrant flows immediately, with hordes of people camped out along Mexico's northern border expected to cross into the U.S. City Council Minority Leader Joe Borelli, Republican in Staten Island, said that lifting Title 42 would put the Biden administration in a liberal conundrum. They will have no tools to enforce the border, nor they don't have them now. They're using Border Patrol to process these people. Look at the archives. Nor will they have political capital within their own party to change the policy, he said. The feds will have even less ability to stop people at the border. This is what's coming if Title 42 is lifted. Right now it stayed. Praise God. I've reported on that already. The feds will have even less ability to stop people at the border. They will make their way here. Staten Island Borough President Vito Fossella, more immigrants taking over in political office, also said the end of Title 42 would be not good for the city of New York. Now, see, this is where you don't really know how to believe immigrants on this issue. Because I know the Latina community, the Hispanics, whatever you want to call them, they intend to take the country over. After our ancestors built it with their lives, they want to totally be in control of this country. So you got to really look at them, like a little sideways when they sit up here and claim we don't want illegal immigration over here while they're populating this country, while abortion's being forced on us due to poverty. Their numbers are ballooning. Okay? Their numbers, they're having their babies like popcorn. And so don't buy into this fake outrage from the legal or illegal that's already in this country. Don't be fooled. Back to the text. You just have to put an iPhone on the border and see the crossings on a daily basis. And many of these people end up being supported by New York City taxpayers and with no end in sight, he said. Unless somebody comes to the rescue, New York City taxpayers will be on the hook for the foreseeable future. City Hall said it was closely monitoring the situation with our state and federal partners, but declined to say whether officials had estimated the potential impact on the city of lifting the order and how it could increase the burden on taxpayers. Meanwhile, a post-analysis of city records showed, Meanwhile, a post-analysis of city records showed that officials have publicly accounted for less than $100 million in spending on the migrant crisis thus far. $100 million of our reparations dollars. That includes $23.5 million for an emergency family shelter in Manhattan's NYMA Hotel near the Empire State Building, $12 million for another family shelter in Queens, and $8.2 million for translation services. I just read you all the numbers. The information was contained in contracts filed with the city comptroller's office and notices filed in the city record. But officials have refused to reveal the total price tag for Adams' controversial tent cities at Orchard Beach in the Bronx and on Randall's Island. So we don't even have a true number of what it's costing in the form of our reparations, with the former never having opened and the latter underutilized for just a few weeks. Partial costs were revealed by Emergency Management Commissioner Zach Iskol, who said it cost about $650,000 total to demobilize from Orchard Beach and rebuild the facility on Randall's Island. Officials have also refused to say which hotels responded to the city's request for 5,000 hotel rooms at the height of the migrant crises, rants, or how much those rooms cost, an expense that the Post has estimated as high as $300 million. Stop sharing that. Let me share what your CBC is doing to shore up immigrants over American freedmen while giving us empty HR 40s that we can't cash because there's no cash attached. They can't pass muster because they want to do race-based reparations. Nothing but the truth. I see you, family. Thank you. I'm coming back, y'all. I got to get through this segment because I won't be back until Sunday with this particular series. Nirvana World TV is going to be bringing you, starting tomorrow. I don't know if you can actually get subscribed to the channel yet. I'm still waiting to be able to stream live on that channel, so I'll have to bring it here until that channel is approved. Nirvana World TV is going to be where a lot of my other God ideals will be made manifest, the very first being metaphysically speaking. So that's going to be to help us spiritually. I'm not religious. I'm very spiritual, though. Okay, so we're going to be digging into Marianne Williamson's A Course in Weight Loss, 21 Spiritual Lessons for Surrendering Your Weight Forever. I'll be with you guys for about 21 consecutive days, and then we'll move to the next book that I want to explore. We'll just be doing that over on that particular broadcast starting tomorrow at 6 p.m. And then I'll be back on Sunday with more current events for this particular channel. I just can't live here every day. Okay. It really upsets me, as you guys already know. So I can't do this every day. It just, it messes with my peace mentality. And so I've got to focus on restoring my peace. And I want to bring peace to you guys and show you how to achieve that in your own circumstances. And break the back of this vicious cycle of these ethnogenocidal plans. We'll be closing out with that prayer until we break it, okay? But anyway, let me get back to what I was sharing with you. This is what your CBC, your congressional black carcasses are doing to sell us out, while supporting an empty HR 40 with no money attached for all blacks, which they know is going to be challenged at the Supreme Court level, because they fixed it so that they can continue to be racist against us, but we can't fight against racism. We can't weaponize race. We have to weaponize our lineage, our history, because all the other groups are allowed to weaponize that to get our reparations and protections. Now we have to do everything lineage-based. You saw what happened to the farmers. If you didn't, look at the archives. Can't do anything on race. They will challenge it at the Supreme Court level, and it will fail epically. And Joe Crow knew that when he gave $8.5 million of $20 billion to the black farmers. And the white folks and the immigrants who were getting the lion's share of that $20 billion took it to the Supreme Court. Ultimately, Joe Crow, shut it down. They claimed that you could not give COVID debt relief to blacks based on race. You can't give race-based COVID debt relief, even though they had the lion's share. They'd rather give up billions than to see us have crumbs. This fight is serious and it's intense. Let's get into it. Dang. I wanted to do this one. I can't. I don't have time. I'll do it another time. Hold on. Where is it at? Hold on, y'all. Here we go. Here's your Congressional Black Caucus immigration reform. They got a whole immigration reform task force, y'all. I'm going to get into this, and then I'm going to come read your comments and say the other couple of things I want to go through for Sunday. I don't have enough time. Got to see what my co-hosts have got to say about it. Immigration reform, lifting up the voices of Black immigrants. An estimated 11 million undocumented immigrants call America home. 575,000 of them are Black. Black immigrants, much like African Americans, are disproportionately targeted by the criminal justice system. So, instead of them fixing the issues going on with American freedmen, they're spending all their energy making sure they can make things better for the immigrants. Black immigrants, much like African Americans, are disproportionately targeted by the criminal justice system, which often leads to deportation and detention. Consequently, although Black immigrants only represent 5% of the undocumented population in the U.S., they represent more than 20% of immigrants facing detention and deportation on criminal grounds. From the institution of slavery to today's institutions, the criminal justice, juvenile justice, and child welfare systems, African Americans know all too well the pain of the forced separation of our families. This tragic history unites African Americans with Black, Latino, and other immigrant communities. The CBC Immigration Reform Working Group is committed to fixing our broken immigration system by codifying deferred action for childhood arrivals, extending the temporary protected status of countries that continue to face conflicts and disasters, and advocating for other measures. I don't know how you got energy to do this, but you don't have energy to get reparations done for American freedmen. I'm not for any of it. Black, blue, or green. I'm just not. Not until American freedmen are made American with the reparations and the quadrillions. That's how I feel about it. No to all of it. We're the reason why they've got immigration in this country so tough to begin with. Hold on, family. Stand by. I got this heat just turned on, y'all. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. Thank you. Ooh-wee. It turned on right in the middle. Okay, guys. So let me see what you guys have got to say about it. But I'm against legal. I want a moratorium on legal immigration and get these illegals up out of here until American freedmen have been paid their reparations and have an end to qualified immunity and have protections, enforced protections, like y'all do for everybody else. These Asians got it so good that if you just look at them the wrong way, they can file a suit against you. That's how much protection they got. So I'm just going to go through and read the relevant, not that it all isn't relevant, family, but we're at 7:20. I'm going to try to keep this to 2 hours or less. I want to make sure I've greeted everyone. Tebe says Biden is on his way out. The illegals he is denying now are the Black ones. Well, like I said, Tebe, I'm not for none of it. I'm not for black, blue, yellow, green. I ain't for none of it until American freedmen are made American. Because what you see happening are these Black immigrants becoming a part of the Crayola, wanton white supremacist systems. They're here to look out for each other. They're here to erase and replace us. They're not here to help us. They're here to drag us, to talk down on us, and to tell us to get over slavery. That's what most of the Black immigrants are doing, while they get a position slightly over us. I've already shared with you the data. from 8 years ago, how African blacks were 60,000 liquid to U.S. black 200 liquid. Need I say more? Hi, Antithesis. Welcome to the live, family. Tebe goes on to say, whoever wrote that article talking about the illegals are being granted asylum legally by crossing the border illegally is a F-bold, face bottom feeder and lying. Yes, darling, that's what they do. That's what they're doing. They're lying to us about the whole situation. And I've exposed them in several of the archives. Yaira says they won't get my vote. Praise God. Oh, that's what I meant to do. I meant to get back to that article. Let me just summarize what I wanted to tell you guys about that article. Although we went from 8 to 14% in the midterm that pivoted and weaponized the vote towards the GOP, we've got a long way to go. They're doing a full court press to now neutralize our vote with immigrants. And so that's why you see the Demorats giving away our reparations and protections to everyone but American freedmen. So I'm leaning in on this messaging. I'm leaning in on the Freedmen protest voter strategy, and I need you guys as my comrades to continue to spread the word. The other thing I want to point out from that article, I am not a fan of how these repugnant clans are against the government doing for American freedmen. Let's not forget how they took our 40 acres and a mule and gave the white folks, immigrants too, slaveholders got reparations, and the slaveholders and the immigrants alike got 150 years of the Homestead Act. And every time any money is to be had, they're the first ones in line to get it. They now benefit more from our affirmative action and civil rights than we do. So please, black repugnant clans, miss me with this? Pull yourself up by your bootless strapperism. No. I'm demanding the reparations. And the thing is that the more we show support for closed border citizens first candidates, the more we can make demands of the repugnant clans. That's what we need to be doing right now as we show them how we almost doubled in support from 20 to 22 during the midterms. We need to weaponize those poll results, those exit poll results, okay? That's what needs to be happening right now. That's what I'm doing, okay? And so I highly recommend you do the same. It may not be reparations. You call it atonement. Do whatever you need to do. But these Mickey Vickies will not get a pass. This ain't a party thing. It's a Freedmen flourishing thing because I strongly believe we won't get a damn thing out of the Demorats as long as we continue to give them our vote for free. You got nothing coming. They're not really fazed by the fact that we doubled in support. Fake outrage. Their plan is to replace our vote with these immigrants. Hi, Sasha Delry 360. I see you, fam. Tebe goes on to say, Joe Crow got on national TV and to them to come over. Now, right now, the border is open. Pure treason. Tebe, drop me that link. Send it to the Repperspect. I didn't hear him say that on national TV. You're saying that he told them to come over? Now, right now, the border is open? I don't recall that. Let me look it up. I don't recall that. Where's the receipt, Tebe? Because every time I see him, every time I look up, oh, I think you mean in jest when he dog whistled and said he's gonna give $30,000 a month access to the country. Is that what you mean, sweetie? Not like literally, but the oxymoron, the messaging being diametrically opposed, that I'm gonna be tough, but I'm gonna allow $30,000 a month. Is that what you mean? You're just a play on words there, sis? I think that's what you're intimating. If not, drop the receipt. Yaira, them migrants are giving Adams that were in New York.
I don't know what that means. They told Adams no for money for them migrants. Oh, okay. So yes, I think that's exactly what happened. He was asking for $1 billion and was denied for the immigrants, not for American freedmen who are being driven out, legislated out of the state of New York. I'm so hot about this. We have more crime in this country, in our neighborhoods, because these illegals are given asylum. They're taking jobs and squatting in homes and given funding by the government. Yes, ma'am. Tebe. They wouldn't come over here in droves unless that message was sent. I feel you, fam. Nothing but the truth. I'm with you. This makes my blood boil. Carolyn Harvey, I haven't forgotten about you. I'm getting a foundation laid, and I will be including you in some of these meetings out here. Just a note to you, okay? Wow, what happened? Whatever she was getting ready to say, they didn't want us to hear it, but I hear her now. Oh, did something black out? I don't know. Sorry about that. I thought I was still rolling. Sorry if there was a hiccup, child. No, I'm being shadow banned, so please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. The Congressional Black Caucus supports policies that decrease Black congressional districts. Yes, African American, you're absolutely correct. No different than the Latinos down here, right? Who illegally redistricted LA in order to keep Black representation off the city council. Yeah, they're not talking about that, though. They want you stuck on the rude-ass remarks from that council about the 2-year-old adoptee by his white gay parents. That's what they want you focused on. Not the fact that they illegally redistricted so that Blacks could not sit on that council. That means no resources. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. Welcome to the live, African American. Black Democrats support immigration, even though it reduces African American voting power. Absolutely, fam. Well, we are coming out from under flat blackness. Anybody, if you want to get involved, wherever you are, on behalf of American freedmen, which is who we are constitutionally, which is who we are as in relationship to our justice claim, Gmail me at therepperspect at Gmail. It's in the description box, and it's also scrolling in the bar below. Yes, Yaira, take care of American freedmen first. I can't believe it. Our ancestors had no idea that fighting for immigration was going to be to our peril. Just like Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. stated, he has integrated us into a burning building. It's not good, fam, and we keep voting for this. Black Demorats support immigration, which reduce the number of African American communities. Democrats, African American Democrats may very likely be the dumbest ninjas on earth. No, the majority of them are no longer even American freedmen. As they retire, they're replacing them with Black immigrants. They're not dumb. They're pushing their own agendas. Yeah, okay. I know that you want us to buy real estate in Latin America and Southeast Asia, but you don't understand the data. Black folks can't even afford rent in this country. Not the bulk of us, okay? So they're trying to survive. Yes, I often state that they're committing ethnogenocide against American freedmen. We don't go by flat Black African American anymore. Black Democrats want African Americans to be a perpetual minority. I would venture to say not even a perpetual minority, but a perpetual bottom caste. You see, capitalism requires a bottom caste, and this country has decided long ago that we were it. We're the anchor.
of capitalism in the fight of our lives to prevent from becoming the permanent bottom caste with no help. Hi, DJ. What are you talking about? A lot of us are living paycheck to paycheck. Exactly, DJ. That's what I'm trying to intimate to African American. I think you went by a different title before because you've been on this buying property in these countries that don't want us over there. They don't want no parts of blackness in these countries that you keep trying to force us to buy property when, like I said, we're suffering the highest rates of homelessness, unemployment, and underemployment. We can barely keep the roof over our heads in this country. So please, you need to stop with that. I'm at my house in Puerto Rico right now as we speak. Great for you, African American. But guess what? You're in a different position than our people are by and large. You might be a part of that 10%. Okay? You might be a part of that 10%. Great for you. But that's not the reality for the majority of American freedmen in this country. It's just not. That CBC in Washington just clearly stated they are not for us. They need change. They need to change their name. Their name should be Congressional Immigrants Black Caucus, CBC. We need our own caucus in Congress. Yes, Tebe, and we're working on that. If you want to get involved with that vision, please Gmail me at therepperspect@gmail. Because these immigrants got two caucuses. They've got the Congressional Black caucuses, and they've got their own Caribbean caucuses, African caucuses, Latino caucuses. We need two. One specifically for American freedmen. Okay, so African American is clearing it up. He's only directing to buy real estate in these foreign nations to those of us that can afford it. He's talking to the 10% of you that aren't over here. Just like the last midterm where you had poor blacks between the ages of 18 and 29 weaponizing their vote. That's generally who's over here. Not the 18 to 29, but those of us who aren't in the top 10%, who can't afford to go and buy property here or nowhere else. So you're sounding the alarm and speaking to the wrong audience. That's not the bulk of the people here. The bulk of the people here understand what's happening to them. They may not be able to contextualize it. That's my job, to help them understand what's happening to them. Okay? So you need to maybe start a channel and find your people who can go out here and buy real estate in foreign nations. That's not usually my audience. DJ says, that's not the majority of us, though. So you are still not making any sense posting that in this chat. Okay, I'm moving past that exchange. Thank you, DJ, for getting him together. DJ said, I need a wrench because you got trolls talking crazy in the chat. Family, please send me a Gmail to the Repperspect. For those of you who want to be mods, please send me a Gmail. Now, DJ, truthfully, I wouldn't shut African American down from stating what he's stating. So when you get a wrench, the only people you can get rid of are all those sex ads that keep popping up and real trolls that like are talking out the side of their neck or being abusive and talking foul against me or anyone in the chat. Those are the only people you can use your wrench on, family. You can't use it on people that are speaking freely like African American. Okay. Hi. Okay, I'm moving past that conversation. Thank you, Angela. He sounds like a troll. He's not, he's harmless. If you're not on the table, you're on the menu. That's right. If you're not at the table, family. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. Absolutely antithesis. Okay, African American, I have to address this. If third world immigrants can afford U.S. rent, African Americans can pay rent in the third world. You don't get it yet, African American. I'm going to exercise a little patience, but I swear I think it's you. I don't remember your prior name, but I remember somebody in this chat constantly talking about us buying land and property in foreign lands. And I'm here to tell you that the reason third world immigrants can afford U.S. rent is the majority of them come over here with money. Okay? The majority come over here with money. Okay, you see the poor ones, but they already told you they are spending thousands to get into this country. And then not only that, they're being given our reparations when they get here to buy property, to buy businesses in our communities. We're not given that same luxury, not in our country, not in theirs. That's why what you're trying to do is not effective. It doesn't work. It doesn't fit the lot of American freedmen. DJ is absolutely right. And especially it's not the people over here in this thread. They don't listen to me. They're the ones, the 10% are voting for this bullshiggity. The top 10%, which is predominantly black immigrants, is voting for the Joe Crow administration. And the poor, who are ignorant to what's happening to them, they're ignorant. They think that they can be kumbaya, just like the woman over in Chicago, talking about loving everybody but wants to fight for her people. That's the problem. You loved on everybody and now you got to fight for your people. You see? You got to be self-interested. We have no friends. You can't be. It's the same thing that happened to the black farmers. Therefore, the rainbow getting COVID relief, instead of fighting for their direct line, now they're sitting up losing their farms 40 going north because they didn't fight specifically for their lineage. Well, they have. They've been fighting agriculture. That's how the fight should have remained. You so busy looking out for the rainbow, and now you got nothing. Joe Crow rescinded everything after it was challenged at the Supreme Court. You've got to be self-interested or you're done as a lineage. Can't speak to everybody. Tebe tells African American, we don't want to go to Asia, Latin America, or anywhere else. Our people are here. This is our land. I'm with you, Tebe. I should be able to live in harmony and peace right here where my ancestors built. And while you're trying to send people abroad because you in Puerto Rico, everybody else is clamoring to get here because our ancestors built the country. They built the wealthiest country in the world. That was what our ancestors did. And so we deserve to live wherever we want freely, without oppression, anywhere in this country we damn well please. And that's what we're fighting for. That's a fight you need to be in. Not this go someplace else. No, while everybody's clamoring to try to get into here, now that our ancestors did the work. That's not how any of this is going to work. Okay, family, with that being said, African American is still going in on his agenda. Y'all just have to ignore this. You see, the more you feed this kind of stuff, the more people will continue in this vein. But he truly wouldn't get a wrench, okay? He would be able to speak his mind, but y'all don't have to feed him, okay? DJ says, that dude sounds like Kendall Qualls, who made that article in the New York Post titled, Black Families Need Fathers, Not Reparations for Slavery. Right. I addressed that. Earlier. I'm going to bring that on Sunday. I don't even feel like getting into that bullshiggity. Well, what works for you don't work for us, African American. You keep fleeing. Do what you do. Keep it to yourself respectfully. Well, African American, the tribe has spoken. They don't want to hear this nonsense. They want to be able to be made American with the reparations and an end to qualified immunity and an end to anti-Black hate and racism in this country. That's their square. Okay? And they're sticking to it. So let's get into closing this out, family. I will bring that article from Kendall Qualls. We'll do that on Sunday, family. We'll dissect that one along with a couple of articles that I still have up here. Lord have mercy. So basically, family, if you don't want to be a part of this spiritual aspect of what I'm doing different when I bring you this horrific news, when I bring you these horrific current events that show the Demorats' ethno-genocidal plans for American freedmen, I've decided that I've got to spiritualize the trauma. So if that's not what you're into, you can feel free to exit the building while I get in with the people who will stand in agreement with spiritualizing this, because we're out-moneyed, we're outmanned, and we're outgunned. All we've got is our inner Christ, inner Buddha, inner Allah, whatever you want to call that inner Christ light of yours. You're free to name that, whatever you choose. I'm not tied to it in terms of religion. I'm tied to the truth of who we are, which I remind you of at the end of every broadcast. So if that's not your thing, thank you for being here. I'll see you on Sunday. Now, if that is your thing and you want to stand in agreement with me, let me get over here and read my prayer to exorcise this madness up out this piece, up out of our experience. Let me go to my document. And then I'll pray us out. So, as I mentioned on yesterday, we're doing this every day. Every day you can do it, but I won't be here every day with current events. Only on Sundays or Mondays, of which my comrade has asked me to consider, and I'm going to consider doing it on Mondays, okay? But I asked you guys yesterday to join me in a writing, burning, and releasing of these ethno-genocidal plans of our government and judicial system and everyone. And so I'm going to repeat it at the end of every broadcast before I pray us out. So this is what you're going to write down daily. Okay? That's my prayers that you will. You don't have to. You can recite it daily. You can play it daily. Whatever you choose. But let's connect in the spirit. My inner Christ to your inner Christ. Let's connect in the spirit to break the back of this bullshiggity that's happening to our people, this trauma that continues. Let's break the back of the never-ending Holocaust in the spirit, which is the true way to get things accomplished. It worked for our ancestors. It will work for us. But it only works if we work it, okay? So this is what you're going to write, burn, and release. Or do with as you will. Or just repeat it within yourself as I say these words. I declare and decree that the highest form of righteous judgment is served over all corrupt beings of the government, judicial system, including the police officers, child protective services, judges, attorneys, FBI agents, politicians, the CIA, and all personnel working for the U.S. corporation with 3 Ks, with wicked intentions. All hidden corruption and agendas are now destroyed forevermore in spirit and in flesh, in sleep and awakened states across all timelines, realms, and dimensions, known and unknown. Don't forget, as you watch it go up in flames, if you choose to burn it, you want to give thanks to the Most High God for granting you the power and the authority to bring down this judgment, and then call on your entire spiritual team, which is the ancestors, to come in and assist you with establishing these things in spirit and in flesh. Then after you're done burning and releasing, you'll write this down on a glass candle with a permanent marker, because we need to fill the vacuum that's been created by affirming what we want to experience in addition to the aforementioned righteous judgment. You can write this down in your journal too. You can do journal on both. It's up to you. Have it your way, but let's do it. Let me read you that part, and then I'll pray us out. All corruption of the U.S. corporation and the police force is now exposed, and justice for all wicked deeds and hidden acts, known and unknown, is now exposed and established in spirit and in flesh, in sleep and in awakened states, across all timelines, realms, and dimensions, known and unknown. And so it is. Now, I know it's a lot to write down. But consider the impact we will have as spiritual giants on behalf of ourselves, our offspring, and our ancestors. Will be well worth the time it takes to do this exercise. Okay? So I thank you guys for standing in agreement with me to help me spiritualize what's going on, to break the back of these ethno-genocidal plans so that we can not just survive, but flourish in the country our ancestors built with their lives. With that being said, family, the light of God. Oh, thank you. Bless you for the, oh my word. Who was this that blessed? Who just blessed the broadcast with $49.99? Oh, Frank Smith. Let me share. Just stopping by to show my support. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you, family. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, shout out to Frank Smith. Bless you for your generosity. Y'all need to leave this man alone. Q-Lane, I see you, fam. All right, family. Yeah, you need me to time him out. Much love, Angela. I can't do it. He's giving me love, family. Y'all just can't feed the monsters at the bottom of the stairs. Not that you're a monster, African American. That was the wrong choice of words. You just can't feed it, family. If you guys want him to stop, the only way he stops is if you stop feeding it. Thank you again, Mr. Smith, for your generosity, for supporting my voice on behalf of American Freedmen. I greatly appreciate you. I appreciate my co-host. I appreciate those of you who are tuning in from Twitter, Facebook, and ScrewTube who have yet to chat, but you're here. It means the world to me to have your support of my voice on behalf of our people. I'm grateful to you for receiving what I have to contribute. It is my gift from God to you. With that being said, family, the light of God surrounds us. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever Freedmen and its allies are, God truly is, because, family, you are the face of God. Yes, you are the voice of God. You are the body temple of the Spirit of the living God. And if no one's told you today how much they love you, know that I love you black and I love you Freedmen strong. Yes, I do. And until we meet again tomorrow, family, 6 p.m., get your books. This will be the first of many broadcasts under the Nirvana World TV entitled A Course in Weight Loss by Marianne Williamson. This is spiritual. In order to get rid of the weight on the outside, you must heal it from the inside. We're starting this tomorrow at 6 p.m. So I hope to see you there. It'll be daily for 21 days. We're purging from the inside and getting rid of the weight from within so that the weight on the outside with our New Year's resolutions will stay off, okay? Yes, indeed. So until we meet again tomorrow at 6 p.m., I want you guys to make it a beautiful, God-inspired rest of your evening. And until tomorrow, family, I'm believing for each and every one of us a ton of peace, love, and reparations, family. Yes.